nobody is showing the proper outrage or the proper reaction to this endless tippy-toeing around, the sensibilities of these poor people. Can't have a cartoon drawing of their, whatever.
Yeah, I understand. Right. And that, of course, was not in the name of Islam either. In other words, those who kill people over a cartoon were not real Muslims. Those who rape and kill children, not real Muslims. Those who set people on fire, not real Muslims. Those who bomb a church, not real Muslims. Those who kill nuns, not real Muslims. Those who burn churches to the ground, not real Muslims. Wherever you turn, not real. Who are the real Muslims then? Where are they? Let them speak already. Where are they? I'm waiting for the real Muslims to speak out against it. I actually had a few of them on the show over the last few months. They have spoken out against these maniacs, incidentally, and they're all women. All right, Phil, I'm sending you a free copy of my novel, Countdown to Mecca. We're not going to save the world. All we can do is be outraged by the insanity, by the way. She excuses Sarnoff. Listen to, again, the double outrage. She excuses Sarnoff and says it's not real Islam. Did you hear the same from the Maryland prosecutor saying that these few cops, even if they're found guilty, do not represent all cops? Have you ever heard Obama say that although this policeman did this, he doesn't represent all policemen? You never hear that, do you? The liberal mind is a sick, polluted sewer of distortions and lies and self-hatred. And I'm Michael Savage, and I agree with this monologue, and I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
Hey, our Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust for wealth insurance, gold and silver. Call 800-BUICOIN. I can see the whole Haight-Ashbury, hairy underarms, patchouli oil. I see the whole thing. See the whole city comes back to life. The most disgusting era in San Francisco's history comes right back up like an overflowing garbage can. Right now in the Haight-Ashbury of San Francisco, there's a McDonald's, right? So these hippies' descendants have turned it into a drug den. The worst, most disgusting area of the city is in the McDonald's, open drug trading. So what does the city do? They're attacking the owners of McDonald's, telling them to get the drug trade under control. You hear? This dirty, degenerate, sick, psychotic, corrupt city tells McDonald's to clean out the drug addicts. Well, excuse me, isn't that the city's job? Isn't it the job of the corrupt mayor to clean the bums out of the McDonald's? Yes. So what's he attacking the business for? They're not trading in drugs. It's the sick degenerates selling the drugs at McDonald's in the Haight-Ashbury. Go back to the music. That's all. I have strong opinions. What do you want from me? It's the way I am. It's the way I'm wired. It's the way I'm made. It's the way I think. It's the way I talk. It's the way I walk. It's the way I see things. If you don't like it, go listen to NPR and Vivaldi music. If it feels good, do it. Why not do it in the road? Now, of course, she died of an OD or whatever. I'm not celebrating that. But we all know what that living for the impulse has led to. It's given us Barack Obama as president. A whole generation of old hippies think that if he feels good, he's a good president. If he looks good, he's a good president. If he cons you with his mellifluous voice, he's a good president. The world is burning. The world is collapsing. ISIS is taking one city after another. We got ISIS in every state of the union, and they're marching around like it's the 1960s, and they're blowing bubbles in the air. That's all. What do you want me to do? Now Sarnoff, a marathon bomber, is found guilty, given a death sentence, and this dumb moron, a U.S. attorney, gets up and says, make no mistake about it, it had nothing to do with Muslims, and he's not a Muslim. That's an insult to him, and to his religion, by the way, because he believes he was a holy warrior committing jihad. I don't like that she insulted him and stole his religion from him. As a matter of fact, if he's a holy warrior, he probably should be given an interview on ABC by George Stephanopoulos so he can talk about the wonders of Islam and how he sees the world. I'm sure that George Staphylococcus is the perfect person to do that job. All right, you got the picture. I'm worked up. The phone number is 855-400-728. Did they give such a statement about Timothy McVeigh, that he wasn't really a Christian, he didn't do it in the name of Christianity? I don't think so. How in the world can you not see what's going on? What is this crime? Todd on WDRC, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Hi, Dr. Savage. Thank you for having me on. I'd like to disagree with you slightly on part of your attack on the DA in that I believe the first part of her statement is somewhat true in that it was a political crime. As you know, the Chechenian region where these two gentlemen originated from
Well, hold on. Let me take your statements as they come. So you're saying Sarnoff's crime was a political crime, not a religious crime?
Partially.
Okay, wait. So then partially you would admit that Islam is not a religion. It's a political movement.
One could interpret it as such, but it's clearly a religion.
Some have said that Islam is not a religion. It's a political movement disguised as a religion. I have read that. So by your statement, you're agreeing that in part that's true.
One could say that, yes.
All right, so now let's hear the rest of your analysis.
Yep. It's just that, as you're aware, the Chechenian region has been controlled by the Russian Empire going back to the 1800s, and they've been battling for independence. And up until recently, religion wasn't a primary vehicle in which they used to cite their independence or try to gain independence from Russia.
So this Chechenian blew up the Boston Marathon race because of something in Chechnya? How does that work?
They claim, part of their hatred for America is because of our support for the Russian.
Now we're supporting Russia? The last I read, we're at war with Russia, according to Obama. We read that Putin's our worst enemy and he's Hitler. See, radical Muslims want to trick you any way they can. They'll tell you it's for the oppression of the Chechens. Then they'll tell you it's for the oppression of Muslims in the Middle East. They always have an excuse for it. So how come they're at war all over the world with people? They always have an excuse for going to war, don't they?
They seem to recently, yes.
They're at war in the Philippines with the Catholics of the Philippines. What's their excuse for that? Some insult against someone selling fish in the Philippines? I mean, there's always a reason to go to war. India, why are the Muslims at war with the Hindus? Again, what, an insult from 1409?
Your point.
I'm sorry. I don't buy that Sarnoff had a political justification for his bombing. I'm not saying you're justifying what he did, but you're saying rationalizing in his mind why he blew up the Boston bomb. No, he's a sick piece of garbage who's used his religion to express his hatred for humanity. In that regard, no, he's not a Muslim. He's a sick human being, and he should have been put off the earth. He never should have been born. He should have been aborted as far as I'm concerned. But he was born. He wasn't aborted. And now he blew up a thing which killed a number of people and maimed others. And he got what he deserved. Unfortunately, the same liberals who are apologizing for Islam will keep him alive for 50 years. That's the real disgusting truth. And by the way, when Timothy McVeigh was put to death, I didn't hear the U.S. attorney get up and say he doesn't speak for all white males. It seems like they condemned the entire white male population with Timothy McVeigh.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
The trial of this case has showcased an important American ideal, that even the worst of the worst deserve a fair trial and due process of law. Today the jury has spoken, and Johar Tsarnaev will pay with his life for his crimes. Make no mistake, the defendant claimed to be acting on behalf of all Muslims. This was not a religious crime, and it certainly does not reflect true Muslim beliefs.
How do you know? What, are you an expert? What, is she a Muslim? That's a product of what we're getting in law schools today. That's the U.S. Attorney for the District of Massachusetts, Carmen M. Ortiz. And we're supposed to sit here and worship her because she's the first woman Hispanic to represent Massachusetts as U.S. Attorney. I don't care who it would be as long as they had intelligence. This one is not intelligent, number one. And number two, she's doing a disservice both to the American people and to the individual who's just found guilty, incidentally, because she's spreading propaganda. It's a complete lie. What do you mean? He said he did it in the name of Muslims and you're telling us he didn't? How would you know what's in his heart, Carmen? And you listen to the rhetoric she uses, this little hallmark speech. This is a day in the name of America. But you know something? I'm running an essay contest for college students. If someone submitted an essay like this to me, I would disqualify it immediately as being hackneyed and beneath the level of a seventh grader. And that's what passes now for a lawyer, at this level, no less. Okay, let's hear what you have to say. KYYA Radio, John. What do you say about this, him not being a Muslim? I mean, how do you feel about Carmen Ortiz apologizing for Islam like this?
It's ridiculous. Every time I hear a politician or a lawyer try to defend after a heinous crime has been committed, They always try to say it does not represent the true Muslim beliefs or does not teach Muslim true Muslim teaching. Well, what does? They never say, what does the Muslim religion teach? What do they believe? It's exactly what it teaches, radical or not. That doesn't teach love one another, turn the other cheek, like you've mentioned 1,000 times. It's exactly what it represents.
That's right. Christianity is based upon love thy neighbor as thyself and turn thy other cheek. That is the chief tenet of Christianity. That is not the chief tenet of Islam. If you read the Quran, there are 113 mentions of war, holy war against people who are not like them. It's in their holy book. It's ingrained in their holy book. It's drilled into their stupid heads from the time they're a child. And it's time for America to wake up to the danger we're in, no matter what these dunces tell us. I'm sending you a copy of Countdown to Mecca for one reason, because the dialogue in this novel explains exactly what I just said in writing. And if I'm wrong, if someone could prove me wrong, I'll give you $10,000. Show me that it does not say that 110 times. Okay, it's in there. It's in there. It's in there. And I'm sick of it. That's all. Now, here's another caller. Listen to this. This is a great caller coming up. Line number 5, John. I can't read the number here because the thing got in the way. John, welcome to the Savage Nation. What station are you listening to?
Thank you. I just want to say I'm absolutely disgusted that the same liberals, like this DA, Obama, etc., who tell me that these people are not Muslims, they put my tax dollars to use to ensure that bin Laden was afforded a Muslim burial, that this Boston bomber probably gets his prayer rug, the Quranic diet, etc. If they're not,
that's right, and he's going to get halal meals in prison. What does that prove? He's not a Muslim. Yeah, he's going to get halal meals. He'll get a prayer rug. He'll get an imam coming in as sure as I'm sitting here. So what does that prove? He's not a Muslim?
Well, these people are saying that they're not Muslims. So then why are we bending over backwards to treat them as?
No. Wait. The murderer, Sarnoff, said he is a Muslim. So she bent over backwards to say he doesn't know what he's talking about. You hear this? So wait a minute. So she's saying basically that he's mentally disturbed, and maybe she should disqualify the verdict and say that it's owing to insanity. And what, she's going to nullify the verdict because he says he's a Muslim, she says he isn't. So by definition, he's crazy. Maybe she should overturn the verdict already, John. Here, I'll read you a page of the dialogue, page 37, Countdown to Mecca, where the generals are planning their plot. And one looks at the other and he says, the Quran, sir. Morton replied, verse 812, just one of the more than 100 verses that call Muslims to war with what they call non-believers. And who do they call non-believers, Brooks asked. Quote, anyone who isn't Muslim, Reynolds interrupted. Quran 551 states that Muslims are not to take Jews and the Christians for friends. Allah describes them as unjust people, close quote. The Quran invokes kill the infidel 120 times, General Brooks said quietly, almost to himself. What kind of sane nation permits these people to practice such open hatred? That's a dialogue in a fictionalized story in a novel called Countdown to Mecca. How sadly it is true, though, that these are quotes from their holy book. And it's long overdue that we had a healthy adult conversation before we are all dead. It's that simple. No nation on earth can survive an infiltration like this unless there is a reformation within the Islamic religion, as there has been within the Christian religion. They will never change their ways. At least some of them won't, as we can see with Mr. Tsarnoff. And every other day they're arresting another cell here and a cell there. Here a cell, there a cell, everywhere a cell. Where are they getting this poison from? Mary's nursery rhymes? They're getting it from their holy book. They're getting it from their imam. That's where they're getting it from. Where the hell do you think they're getting it from? I have nothing more to add. I'm not going to listen to these excuses anymore. It's nonsense. It's sickening. Craig, WBMQ, he's also outraged by this attorney, Carmen Ortiz. Listen, go ahead, please.
Well, had Sarnoff been a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Christian who had done this in the name of Jesus, I don't believe any of Obama's goons would have been very quick to defend him. or defend their Christianity. We both.
Yes, but you don't have to go that far. In the recent incident with the cops, did that the state attorney there, Marilyn Moron Mosby,